But I do want to tell you about our appetizers now. Luscious Lox Bites, Everything Bagel Season 9 bread. Following that is our entree. It's the Park Avenue pastrami on rye. Powdered pastrami and coleslaw with our 10-day mustard, Russian dressing, served with our bacon, cheesy potato bites. And for dessert, a sumptuous traditional tiramisu. Listen, I'm sure you will love this fest, but I want to invite you back to the next one. Twisters on July the 18th. Alright, run along. See you at the show.
Alrighty, so I'm talking about A Quiet Place Day 1. We watched it last night, Thursday, 27th. We did, as you can see in the video beforehand, it was at Flicks Brew House, Oklahoma City. I love going there to watch movies, and they tend to do events for a lot of movies, so we did the one last night where it's appetizer, entree, dessert, a beer, cocktail, and I mean, by the end, they were just giving out desserts and beers to everyone because it was just like the movie's almost over and we have plenty of stock. But cool event. You know, if you can find like a brew house, like restaurant, movie theater near you, I highly recommend it. Hopefully in your area is good. I know in Texas there's like Alamo Draft House. I've never been there, but I know they had some stuff with the union. Like they had to form a union because it was like really bad work conditions. But in other notes, I don't have a script for this, but I did kind of make key note points, bulletin points that I'll kind of go off of and kind of avoid spoilers till the end of the video where you can click off if you don't want to hear the spoilers. But the first note I have is, what does this prequel bring to the overall story? And I can tell you it honestly doesn't bring realistically anything. A movie like this, or in this universe, this idea should, in my opinion, work better as a TV show. So I think what would be a benefit to this series is maybe, I don't know, a 5-episode miniseries, a 6-episode miniseries, whatever. Each episode is about a different person or group in this universe. Because it seems like the idea that they're going with is like they don't want to do that main family anymore. But what can you do? You know, because I watched A Quiet Place Part 2 right before I watched this one because I'd never seen it before. I really didn't like it. I really, really didn't like it. I felt it did nothing for the story. Because I thought it was going to do something for the story in A Quiet Place Part 2 with the island and all the people. That's like a fucking throwaway 5-minute scene, and then, you know, and then the whole thing is like she uses her cochlear to amplify the signal to any radio or whatever that's broadcasting to their signal, which is cool. That's one way to fight back against the aliens, but that's hoping that there's radios listening to that frequency and they can blast it so that it affects the aliens nearby. But then in the Quiet Place Part 2, it's also like, even though she was using that, the alien was still like, oh my god, but coming towards her, about to kill her. So you're like, does it work or does it not work? Or does it only want to work when it's, plot convenience? But going back to A Quiet Place Day 1, it didn't do anything to like expand the lore for me to be like, why was this made? I mean, you could say that's kind of coming off pretentious and a movie can just exist, which is true. I guess I was just trying to figure out like, well, why couldn't this just been a sequel. I mean, I guess day one is cool, but I would have almost been kind of cool like day one, but from the perspective of multiple different characters in multiple different places, because that leads me into my next setting. It's in a city setting, but it's not really utilized. And what I mean by that is because I made two notes. They utilize it in a sense that there's some cool scenes, but it doesn't go farther than that. So there's one scene where, you know, a certain noise, like a noise is happening. I'm not trying to spoil it, but a noise is happening, and like hundreds of aliens are running through the street. And you're like, oh, that's cool. We didn't see that in the other movies. Like, woo, that's pretty scary. And then another scene shows them, you know, like running around, you know, just like all like this, not the skyscrapers, but like the city buildings and stuff. You're like, ooh, that's creepy. And then there's one more scene where they're wandering around the city, you know, camera pans up, and they're like coming down the skyscrapers. I was like, those are cool scenes. Those are neat scenes. But that's about as far as that goes for a city setting. Like, you could say because there was mass people, you know, like, because there is a pretty tension-filled scene with a bunch of people. Towards the end, there's a cool scene which would have probably not have happened if it wasn't in the city. And so there are key moments, but I don't know. I guess I was just expecting more of utilizing the city. You know, I mean, I guess it's supposed to take place, I think, in one day or like a couple, like 3 days. No, it's all supposed to be in the same day because, not spoilers because it's in the trailer. Djimon Hounsou from A Quiet Place Part 2 is in this movie. Basically, in A Quiet Place Part 2, he was like, you know, I was there the first day and we escaped on boats. And at the end of the movie, in this one, you see him on the boat. And so it's like, I guess it did take place in one day, but technically it seemed like it was like 2 or 3 days because you see it go from night to day, back to day to night to day, which I guess is one day. But yeah, my next point. Okay, to the characters. So I really liked the main female character. Not really spoilers because they tell you in the first 5 minutes she has cancer. And she both plays it very well and looks the part. She actually looks so sick. I don't know how she's like acting. Like she looked actually sick. But you understand how, because she has cancer, and I think they allude to the fact that she doesn't have long to live, that this is all happening and she just does not necessarily give a fuck. Because her whole goal in the movie is she wants the inner city, Harlem pizza. She's like, I'm gonna fucking get it. Like, if I'm gonna, it's the apocalypse, I'm dying from cancer, like, I'm gonna go get me a fucking pizza before I fucking die. And so it's like this, just, in my opinion, feels real because, like, yes, an apocalypse would be happening, but if you're dying of cancer, you probably are, like, because they established that she doesn't really have family or anything. She, like, goes to, like, a medical facility, so she's probably like, I don't care, like, I'm surviving to get to this goal, and then I'm complete. I'm fine. And her acting's really good, where it's like, wow, you're selling it to me that you're in pain and you're struggling. The other character, can't remember what his name is. Eric, maybe? He's okay. They do a whole thing where he's like, he's British. But I didn't realize the actor was British. Unless he's doing a British accent, but it just cuts to him. There's like a flooded subway. He's coming out. And then her cat, which I'll get to in a sec, basically leads him back to her, and she's, like, okay, go away, but he just keeps following her, and she's like, leave me alone, please, like, go away. And he's like, no, and she's like, what's your deal? And he tells her why, and she's like, go back this way, the boat's like, you'll be fine. And he's like, I'm scared to be alone, my family is in England, like, I don't want to be alone. And it feels weird, but you got to think about it, like, you're in that situation where there's nobody, and there's blood everywhere. You see one person, and it's like, maybe he doesn't know his way around New York, whatever, and he's like, I would feel more comfortable if I was in a group, even if it's one person, than by myself. Like, I get it. And homie was like, I'm scared, which I also understand. I'd be scared too if there were ginormous spiders with crazy hearing that would kill me in a second. So I didn't mind it. I like the aspect that they're not necessarily like, they don't do like a love trope, like, oh, they're kissing. No, it's like, he's just like, they're very friendly by the end. Even though it's been like, yes, less than a day, it's like, he helps her get around and stuff. And one thing I will say, because this may have made it a little bit more predictable, but I feel like if you wanted to give him character development, maybe, or some kind of thing, you could have probably even had him be an asshole, or not an asshole, but you could have probably had it where, and this would be so on the nose, but, whatever, it's a movie, where he's from England. He says that, his parents are back home, whatever. But you could have it where his mom or dad, like, is, like, fighting cancer or something. And he's in America to do law school or whatever. And then, with this happening, he, like, feels the guilt of, like, not being there for his parents. So he wants to take care of the main girl, because he feels like a sense of, like, justification in himself that, like, by helping her, I'm, like, making up for how I couldn't be there for my parents with cancer or whatever. Something just to add a little bit more to it. Or I don't know. I don't know if it needs to be that in depth. I just thought about that while I was watching the movie. But yeah. And on to the real main character of the movie, which is the cat, Frodo. Sweet looking cat, big old fluffy black and white chunky cat, so cute. Every time it's on screen, I just want to be like, sweet little kitty. I just want to give the cat a pet. But it's funny because it's like the most well-behaved cat ever, and obviously it's a movie, so it's like, whatever. But there's so many scenes with that cat where I'm like, that cat's dead. And it's almost comical that, like, an explosion goes off. She drops the cat and runs off. And then the cat finds her. Or she finds the cat. And I'm like, it's New York City. There's hundreds of people running around. An explosion just went off. And you telling me your goddamn cat just came back. Now, that's a good cat. I don't know if that happened. But, there's like a couple scenes with water where the cat is like underwater. I'm like, how is that cat alive? And of course, like, there's a funny scene where the guy, like, the cat is running away, so he has to go get it, and it's like a nest of aliens. And I'm like, I get that, going to the ends of the earth to save my cat. But I really liked it. And yeah, no, every scene with the cat, people in theater were like, oh, sweet kitty. But yeah, and then going to the creatures, I do feel like they went back to making the creatures seem a little bit more scary. I felt like in the second one, because they figured out how to bamboozle them, it just didn't seem as scary. But in this one, you're like, ooh, God. Now, God, my allergies. I wish they made it a little bit more intense, because I think it was rated R, but I was expecting, like, gore and stuff. There really wasn't that. They kind of cut away from everything. And they do a weird thing where every time they show the aliens, it like zooms in on their feet, and you see, because their feet are like this, and so they're like, and it's just cutting on the feet. I'm like, show me more of the alien, please. But they did a good job making it feel a little bit more tense. Going back to what I was saying in the beginning, where they added something new. When the guy goes to the alien nest, there's a bunch of these nasty looking, like, those like upside down cakes, what they look like, where like you bake the cake and you flip it. It looks like that. Mixed with like those fat cactuses that are kind of like a circle. It looks like that. But if you ever play Callisto Protocol, it looks like the thing where that little snake thing shoots out and then grabs you around the neck. But I was like, are these eggs? Like, what's going on? And then it makes a weird noise, the alien. They're like cracking it open and eating it. And it looks like a coconut inside. And I was like, okay. Elaborate. Okay, like, why even show that? Show, like, okay, they create these strange looking fruits and eat them. I mean, I guess because people were like, that's weird. They're not killing people, only eating. They're not eating them. They're just killing them. And then it's like they're like vegetarian or something, which just confuses me even more. Like, huh? Like, what? I almost just give me a Quiet Place movie that's from the perspective of like the military, where we can just get more exposition. Because at this point, it's like, just tell me like what is going on. And I guess I can start getting the spoilers after here, but something that annoys me with this movie and the rest of the movies, I think overall was better done in the first movie, but the whole thing is like, oh, if they hear sound, they're going to kill you. And there's a scene towards the beginning where the main girl is with her like nurse friend. And the power goes out, so the backup generator turns on, and it's on for like 40 seconds. Loud as fuck. And the guy is struggling to turn off the hand valve, which is for whatever reason on the back of the generator. I don't know if that's how real generators are, but that's a stupid place to put it. And he's like, hey, beep. And, he's smiling. It gets all quiet, and he's like, wow. And then as he's backing off, his shirt rips. And he goes, well, does the, like, if this were the camera, he's like, and then he flashes the light, and there's an alien right there, just like, then grabs him. And I just kept going, so you've established that there's like hundreds of thousands, maybe not hundreds of thousands, thousands of aliens in the city. That loud ass generator was going off for almost a minute. Not one came. Homie tears his shirt, and one fucking bamboozles him. And I was like, what? And then when the guy is going into the nest, he's like, there's like gravel and rocks everywhere. And you can hear it in the movie, him crunching on it. And it's a nest, and they don't do anything. And then he's climbing up this metal bar, it's got the little side handles. And you can hear the chute like, dink, dink, dink. Nothing. I'm like, and then he's like climbing up to almost grab the cap, and like slightly skirts against the metal, and there's an alien right next to his face that pops up and is like, does the, and then even pulls out its ear thing right next to him, where I'm like, at this point they should be able to hear his heartbeat, or him going, in the movie he goes and the alien's like, and so I hate when it's like, you're not establishing the rules well enough, and it's all fake, so whatever. But it's like, so 1 minute they can hear a fucking shirt rip and come kill you, but they don't hear a generator. On one hand, they don't hear you stepping on a fucking ladder, but then they can hear, like, oh, I popped a fucking pill bottle open. Oh, there they are. Oh, and you're like, because there's the whole thing, like, with the water, when it's raining, they can't hear you. I'm like, well, then, how the fuck did the aliens even know, like, what they're attacking or anything? That means why, if it's noise, why are they not just constantly attacking. Is it because it's water itself? Because they keep establishing that it's noise. So if I just made a loud ass noise everywhere where they couldn't destroy it, they would just leave it alone and act like that's just how the world is. Like, huh? And as cool as they wanted to make the ending, it was kind of laughably like, that's stupid. Because there's the last boat that, you know, Jimon Hansu is on. And they realize that the girl, or they realize a survivor is near the boat. And so basically the main girl gives her cat to the guy and is like, get to the boat. So she runs off and starts hitting all the cars that were stuck in traffic, making the car alarms go off and making the aliens confused. I was like, that's a great use of the city scene. Awesome. So homie's running and kicks a fucking can, and all the aliens stop to go then chase him. And I'm like, that's stupid. But yeah, they're about to chase him, and then he hops off the pier into the water with the kitty cat and makes it to the boat. She stays behind. She has like an old iPod that she was charging at the pizza place, because they did end up getting pizza. It was actually like, I think, her dad's place. But she is listening to the music in her headset, walking across the street. And she was a poet, so she's like, you know, the songs of the city. Oh my god, like, I'm feeling great. And I just knew it was coming, but I was like, no way. She has her headset in the little, you know, portable, I don't know, music player. Takes her headset out and is just like, and then you see an alien pop up behind her and it cuts. And I'm like, so you're telling me instead of dying from cancer, like slowly, like, you know, mind you, I haven't had cancer, so I don't know what that's like, but it's like, you'd rather have the alternative, which is getting eviscerated by an alien and horrifically dying? I don't know. It just seems so, like, at that point, if they were going to do that, why not just have her do that when she's saving the guy and her cat? You could have maybe said it's too much like A Quiet Place Part 1, but so is the rest of the movie. So don't stop there. I just felt like when the car alarm stopped working and she was like, oh my god, is he going to make it? You could have had it where she, you know, she didn't have it with her, but you could have had it where the scene led up to her having that. Or even a music radio where she quickly connects her thing to the music radio and blasts her favorite song or whatever, and the aliens stop, turn around, and basically just come fucking kill her. And then he makes it to the boat. Would it have been horrifically sad? Yes, but the weird ending they put, I'm like, I don't get it. Why you did that? You know, I guess you could say going out on your own terms, but it's like going out on my own terms of being ripped apart by a bunch of spider aliens. I don't know. But I guess that's about it, you know. 20 minutes, holy shit. Didn't realize it was that long. But, yeah, those are just my note points on A Quiet Place, Day 1. Not a bad movie. I wouldn't recommend watching it in theater because everyone's so fucking loud and annoying. So, I'd say go save this for when it's on DVD where you can watch it at home in the comfort of your home, and hopefully people are more respectful in your home. So, that's going to be it for this video, and I guess that's it. Oh yeah, also, I'm sure if you noticed, I changed my YouTube name. I realized in 7 years, nobody can say On Yoji Rock, so I'm just going to make it Yoji Rock. Honestly, I might even shorten it to just Yoji, just to make it easier for everybody. A lot of people on chat call me OG, so this is just what we're working with because nobody can pronounce it. So, until next time, thank you for watching. I'm out.